Imagine trying to hold onto water with your bare hands. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. The more you chase control, the more resistance you create. But what if the secret to mastery, peace, and success isn't about pushing harder, but about letting go? Taoism, an ancient philosophy that has shaped the way millions approach life, teaches us the power of flow, a state where action becomes effortless and life unfolds with grace. In this video, we'll uncover the core principles of Taoism and how applying them can transform your life. Stick around till the end, because what you'll learn might just shift your perspective forever. Taoism introduces us to a paradoxical truth. The strongest force in the world is often the most yielding. This idea is encapsulated in the philosophy of Wu Wei, often translated as non-action or effortless action. But let's be clear, Wu Wei doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting in harmony with the natural flow of life rather than fighting against it. Think of a skilled surfer. He doesn't fight the wave, he moves with it. The moment he resists, he falls. Life works the same way. The state of flow, or Wu Wei, is characterized by a lack of extremes, worries, and ruminations, and allows individuals to move through time and space almost effortlessly, with a razor-sharp focus and a sense of ecstasy. When we drop our resistance, our need to control outcomes, we enter a state of flow. In modern terms, athletes call it being in the zone. Writers experience it when words pour onto the page effortlessly. You might have felt it when you were so absorbed in a task that time seemed to disappear. That's Wu Wei in action. Lao Tzu, the legendary figure behind Taoism, a Chinese philosopher who may have lived in the 5th and 6th century BC, wrote the Tao Te Ching, a masterpiece that is the main work of Taoism, and his existence and the timing of the writing of the Tao Te Ching are still disputed. He illustrated this concept beautifully through the analogy of water. Water never forces its way, it simply flows, finding paths of least resistance, shaping landscapes over time. It is soft yet strong, yielding yet unstoppable. What if we lived more like water? The Tao Te Ching, written over 2,500 years ago, is the cornerstone of Taoist wisdom. It is the second most translated book in history, after the Bible. But unlike rigid doctrines, the Tao Te Ching doesn't give rules. It gives paradoxes. The Tao is a concept that is difficult to define or understand, and it is considered to be an all-encompassing force that is beyond human comprehension and cannot be perceived by the senses, with the goal of Taoist philosophy being to live in agreement with the Tao. One of its core teachings is that the Tao, the underlying force of the universe, is beyond human comprehension. It cannot be grasped, only lived. A verse from the Tao Te Ching says, "The Tao never does, yet through it, everything is done." This suggests that by aligning ourselves with the natural rhythm of life, rather than resisting it, we open doors to ease, creativity, and success. In other words, the harder we try, the more we struggle. But when we act without force, we often achieve more. So how do we apply this? By cultivating stillness, curb their senses, be humble, and cease striving, which can allow them to open themselves up to the workings of the universe and achieve a state of flow. In the West, stillness is often mistaken for passivity. But in Taoism, stillness is power. It's not about stopping movement, it's about being fully present within it. Take Bill Russell, the legendary NBA player. In his biography, he describes moments during a game when everything would slow down. He wasn't thinking, he was simply reacting effortlessly. That's the power of being present. Stillness doesn't mean meditating for hours. It means being fully present in conversations, walking without being lost in thought, eating without distractions, listening instead of waiting to reply. When we cultivate inner stillness, we become more responsive and less reactive. We let go of overthinking and life starts to unfold naturally, just like Ting's story. One of the most famous Taoist parables is the story of cook Ting, a butcher who had been using the same knife for 19 years without ever sharpening it. His secret: he didn't cut through the ox, he flowed with its natural structure, letting his knife find the empty spaces between the bones. He explained, "I go at it by spirit and do not look with my eyes. Following the natural lines, I let my knife move where it wants." This story teaches us a crucial lesson. True mastery isn't about brute force or struggle. It's about knowing when to act and when to let things unfold. The best decisions often come not from overanalyzing, but from a place of intuition and clarity. The power of gentleness is a key teaching of Taoism, which emphasizes the importance of not forcing or striving, but rather finding a balance between action and non-action, and approaching tasks intelligently. The concept of non-action, or Wu Wei, goes against the Western ideal of forcing and working harder to get results, and instead encourages a more effortless and natural approach to achieving goals. Taoism stands in stark contrast to the Western mindset of constant striving. We are taught to push harder, hustle more, and force results. But Taoism suggests the opposite. Sometimes the less you try, the better the outcome. Water again serves as the perfect metaphor. It doesn't struggle, yet it wears down mountains over time. It nourishes everything in its path without seeking recognition. Lao Tzu reminds us, the supreme good is like water, which benefits all things and does not compete. How can we apply this? By practicing effortless effort, working with intention but without attachment to outcomes. Approaching life with gentleness rather than force allows us to achieve more with less resistance. Taoism likens life to a river. When you fight the current, you exhaust yourself, but when you trust the flow, you navigate effortlessly. The characteristics of water, such as softness and humility, are used to symbolize Taoist virtues, and the Tao Te Ching quotes the supreme good as being like water, which benefits all of creation without trying to compete with it. Most of our suffering comes from trying to control things beyond our reach: people's opinions, future events, even our own emotions. But Taoism invites us to loosen our grip, to move through life with curiosity rather than resistance. The idea of flowing with the natural course of things is central to Taoism and involves aligning oneself with the natural order rather than trying to control or resist it, and this approach is seen as the path of least resistance. Water is a soft and yielding substance that can overcome hardness, as seen in the erosion of rock, and it nourishes everything it passes without having a specific purpose or desire. The nature of water is an example of an incredible life force that works without ambition, and its ability to overcome hard and rigid things is unmatched. The state of flow allows individuals to be completely immersed in the present moment, letting go of worries about the future and past and focusing solely on the task at hand, whether it be sports, writing, or other activities. Instead of asking, "How can I make things go my way?" ask, "How can I align with what is already happening?" Ultimately, Taoism teaches us that peace doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from surrendering to it. By embracing Wu Wei, cultivating stillness, and learning from nature, we unlock an effortless way of being. The concept of being in a state of flow is characterized by the disappearance of focus on results and the emergence of a focus on the task at hand, which is similar to the Stoic concept of amor fati. Letting go is a crucial aspect of achieving a state of flow, which involves releasing attachment to the past and future, and instead living entirely in the present moment without hesitation. If this philosophy resonates with you, start small. Notice moments of resistance in your life. Practice letting go of rigid expectations. Trust that life, like water, will find its way. And remember, sometimes the most powerful action is no action at all. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, where in your life do you need to flow more and force less? See you in the next video.